It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Adam. Hey, listen, I'm looking on the Tubi TV app, and lo and behold, in my recommended movies, Kenny Rogers, Coward of the County. 1981, drama. A lifelong yellow belly who made a deathbed promise to his father to be a pacifist seeks bloody revenge on the men who gang raped his wife.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
They usually wait to the holidays to run that, but okay. We were fired a little early. Jeff Dye, comedian, is here. Got an album out. Dumb is Gooder. It's available wherever you listen to music. Podcast, Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast as well. Good to see you again, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I had a thought about Kenny Rogers. People bringing it up because me and Norm Macdonald were talking about it on a radio show a million years ago, and then Norm passed, and people are going back and revisiting.
I love Kenny Rogers.
This stuff. Yeah, the Kenny, I feel bad for anyone who died during COVID in the midst of like COVID mania because he doesn't register. It's the Farrah Fawcett situation. She dies the day after Michael Jackson died.
A couple hours before
Michael Jackson. Like it just, everything just gets swept out.
Do you remember that female wrestler, China?
Yeah.
Yeah, so China died, and I remember like my wrestling buddies were going, oh, can you believe this happened? And everyone was like about to make a post or whatever. And then Prince died an hour later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened to her too. She was like, nobody was talking about it after that.
You want to time out your death,
Gotta figure it out.
You got to work it out. You do it now. I know it's not something you want to talk about, but it's something you got to address early. Yeah. And then there's the good timing. There's the Gary Condit or whoever, the politician that gets caught up in his mistress is found murdered or gone missing. And then 9/11 hits. And everyone's like, oh, what was that? And then they just go the other direction. To Paula Poundstone.
Right.
Got a lot of mileage out.
That's right.
Comedian Paula Poundstone was like going in trial for like bizarre charges.
Yeah, with her daughter, right? Wasn't it some sort of
like adopted kid
molestation thing?
It was like reckless and
alleged. That was in the case.
You know, it was like this weird combo of like reckless endangerment with drunken arson overtones or something, and 9/11 hit. Oof. And everyone just kind of went, well, what's over here?
No. What a relief for her.
Yeah, so again, people,
nobody talks about the positives of 9/11.
Right. Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah, you do. I like it.
You got to plan it, people. That's what I'm saying. So, Jeff, we were talking off the air about boxing and about you hanging out with Gary Shandling, another guy who's kind of got the Norm Macdonald treatment when he passed. Like everyone's like, God, this guy's a genius, an icon, and but it was even deeper than icon. It was like we respected him so much, in this field,
And suddenly the rest of us knew he was some sort of a spiritual guru.
Yeah, and I didn't know the man, but I guess you did.
I knew Gary pretty good, only because I was like a young guy, and I would just sit and listen to him. And sometimes old guys like that. They like just a young guy who just hangs on their words. And Gary liked boxing, so he would just go, come watch boxing with me. And I would just sit there and listen to him talk about, like I was doing out there, listening to you guys talk about boxing. I don't know anything about boxing. I was like, that guy's a giant. He's probably going to win. I'll put my money on the giant.
How'd you even hook up with Shandling in the first place?
I'm a regular at the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, which also might be a tragedy of COVID. That might never open again. Because the owner is like a big germ guy. He hates germs.
Is that what it
Mike
is?
Lacey, I've known him for 20 years. I've never touched him. Like, even back in the day, he would just be like, oh, I'm just getting over a cold. Every day, he's getting over a cold. And, so he just never shook his hand, never anything. But now COVID happened. He's like, he's really scared.
Well, this is going to bring it home for us nicely. Before we came on the air, I called Leno's shop to talk to Jay, and one of his guys picked up. And his shop is so big that when his guys pick up the phone, I go, is Jay there? They go, I don't know.
Who's to say?
Let me charge up the golf cart, see if I can track him down. Like, imagine being in your own building and no one's really got the energy to find you because it's so vast.
Squad goals.
But he's like, he did that move where he goes, he may be here somewhere. You want me to...
You don't want me to look, do you?
Look for him, do you? And I'm like, it would be nice if you could look for him. So he's like, all right, hold on. And then he goes and looks, and then he realizes that he can't find Jay, but there's a motorcycle missing.
Oh.
And so Jay is
Plot
on
thickens.
one of his motorcycles, and he's the real deal. This ain't a photo op. There's not riding with the Boys and Girls Club or anything. This is just
Clear my head.
weekday, solo, on my bike, gone. So Jay's gone. But Jay, that's his club.
Right. That's his home club every Sunday.
And he said he was looking for a new club because that club was closing down. But I'd heard maybe from Jay that it wasn't COVID, but it was just something else.
Well, I mean, I might be saying stuff I shouldn't, but I just know that Mike Lacey, the owner of that place, he's a big germ guy. He doesn't do nothing. And so I just kind of put two and two together. But I know he's trying to sell the club, but then he can't commit to getting rid of it because he's like his baby, you know. So we don't know. But that's how I met Gary Shandling, and so I just hang out there with him.
I guess if you're purchasing that club, you got to ask if Jay comes with it or not.
I know,
right?
like, what is the deal?
Yeah. Hey, we got Jeff Dye. Yeah, okay, good. Awesome. Go ahead and leave a scented candle in the bathroom. We'll call it even. Is Jay.
Big whoop. Jeff
Jay. Is Jay going to be with the. I mean, think about the difference that makes to your business if you know Jay's dropping in every Sunday religiously versus, Jay's playing another.
Yeah.
And to show Jay Leno's commitment, maybe I shouldn't share the story, but his commitment to playing that club every Sunday was insane. One time he's in the green room and he goes, so I'll see you next Sunday, Rich. And Richard's the manager. Richard goes, oh, no. We're not doing next Sunday because it's, it's Christmas or what. It was like some like holiday. Yeah, it was Easter Sunday or something. And he goes, no, I'll still do it. He goes, no, we're giving the staff.
Club's closed.
Yeah, they all want to be with their families and they want to go home. And Jay's like, you could see like a look on his face of like, but what am I gonna like? I perform here on Sundays. Like it ruined his routine.
I'll do Jay Leno gibberish. You be the club owner.
Right.
Hey, it's, next week. Come on Sunday.
Actually, next Sunday's Easter, Jay. So we're.
I'm gonna drop by.
Oh well, you've met Stephanie, right?
Hi.
Stephanie.
Stephanie's great. Yeah. Hey, that's good.
It's great to see you.
Hey,
Stephanie
doing
was very
good?
excited
Good?
about
Hey,
Easter
good?
Yeah,
Sunday.
I have
You
a
doing good?
huge family I never get to see. I have
All
long
right.
hours
I'll
here.
see you on Sunday.
No, my actual family. I'm actually flying back east.
I'll just stay here then.
No, Jay, we're not doing the show.
I'll just leave you the keys. I don't know.
Jay, we
Then
can't.
all the keys to the mail slot, and then just come back on
Everyone will be at
in the
church.
mail slot.
There's no audience.
No, that's right. Everything exists.
Fuck it, we're open.
And see.
They would fold to him. I think that like if Jay would have pursued it like that, they probably would have eventually. Because like you said, that's what keeps that place afloat.
Yeah, so hopefully that place will be. And what's going on? Let's see. Comedy Stores got a Vax card mandate, right?
And I think they're only open weekends or something like that. I drove by it on a weekday. And it was
in the
nobody.
Improv, Melrose Improv.
They're open.
And is it a proof of vaccination kind of thing? I don't know what the protocols are.
I didn't.
And then there's the Laugh Factory, and trying to think of who's left. Oh, the Ice House in Pasadena. As long as we're going local clubs, are they selling and reopening or something? The fucking Ice House is the only club that's within striking distance of my house for me, and I guess it's been closed down for a couple of years. So it'd be nice if they could get that one up and running. So
Well, now there's all these shows in parking lots and rooftops. Dave Chappelle's headlining Forests. Like there's like I remember like originally during the pandemic, I was like, dude, we'll all take a break. You know, everybody's gonna take a little break. And then like within a month, everyone's like, you want to do my pickup truck show?
right.
And you're like, I'm not gonna perform in the back of a pickup truck. And then like 2 months after, just sitting in my house, like, screw it, I'll do the pickup truck show. And they're like, oh, it's all booked. I mean, what do you the pickup truck show's booked? They're like, yeah, we have Bill Burr. I'm like, Bill Burr's doing the pickup truck show?
Well, it really turns out from some of these lineups on some of these like parking lot shows.
Like the pop-ups.
Yeah, with just maybe they get 200 people max, maybe 150. You can get, A-list comedians to play it because comedians just fucking hate traveling. But they want to perform. They just don't want to travel. Yeah. So if you can do it in the backyard of a lot of these A-listers, they'll for sure, because there's some of these little pop-up Wednesday night whatevers are just stacked with big name talent who would for sure headline, play theaters, and do all that if they had to get on an airplane.
Right. And the audience who's there is diehard and really wants to be there.
Yeah, well, we were on the same show, the Supernova, which is it's literally used to be a parking lot for a nightclub, and then they just turned it into like a little.
Was that on Hollywood Boulevard or something?
It's on Whitley or something like Whitsett or Whitley? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the only reason that show has all these A-list comedians, and the secret is that they just pay the comics. That's all it took.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, just give them some money and they show up.
Yeah.
Wait, Adam. Did they pay the comics?
No. Well,
they paid you.
No, they did. They would pay. I wouldn't do it. I don't do stuff for money, but I will do it for cash because I need a little wham, a little walking around Monday.
Nice.
And I haven't had an ATM in a long time, but I get my merch cash. I get they'll give you cash. The last time I did that show, they're like, "You got your
Venmo?" Or
What's your PayPal?
And I'm like, I don't have that. And they're
Next time, tell them it's at Bald Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do that.
Tell them that, yeah. For
So
sure.
I was like,
That's your Venmo.
I don't have that worked out. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? But also, I didn't care about the $300 or whatever it was. I just wanted the actual sum because
the cash.
Well, the fucking parking guys are Nazis, right? Like at that same place.
Yeah.
First off, I have never met anyone in Los Angeles who worked in a parking lot. If George Clooney and Laurence Olivier. Laurence Olivier got on George Clooney's shoulders and tried to walk in and want to drive into one of them. They'd be like, "Say, bud, hey, dude, back off, get out!" There's no Bill Burr could try all he wants. It doesn't. They are not. They don't know who's performing. They don't give a fuck who you are. They're always from some faraway land that doesn't have cable or something,
or humor, or anything,
or nothing. And it's like you're pulling in and you go, and they're like $20, and you're like, I don't have. I got a credit card, $20 cash, and then you're like, if you let me in, I can get the money from the guy, and then you're not coming in.
No, I can't do it.
Don't let me park, and I'll pay you on the way out.
No, because we've had too many people do that and then flee to Mexico on foot, leaving their car behind.
I didn't realize
and
that.
We're tired of getting screwed.
All these empty cars
with these expensive SUVs.
Yeah, you would think that should count. You have my whole car.
Yeah, that's collateral.
My whole car.
When I was
$20.
young, like a couple of times. Back in the day when you would run out of gas, remember you were like poor and cars didn't, like I had a friend who had a 57 VW Bug, didn't even have a gas meter, didn't have a gauge. You just had to kind of
feel it out.
You had to write it down. And running out of gas was something we would do, and it'd be that thing we'd like walk to the gas station and then you'd go, "Hey man, can I borrow a gas can?" They go, "Well, we don't really like letting out of gas cans." And I remember when I was a carpenter, I left behind a high point saw. Like, you can have this saw, keep it. It's $140. Give me the $10 gas can, and all. There was that's kind of how it worked. You had to drop stuff off. They knew you were coming back, or if you didn't. But you're right with cars. All the fucking hassle. It's like. The car's there.
That should count.
It's $56,000. It's yours.
Yeah. You also have the keys.
I can't go anywhere. How? Yeah. What if I flee on foot? I'll just run serpentine laughing hysterically into the night.
Got one over on you.
Enjoy your new car, sucker.
This is how the rich get rich.
Got rid of that Range Rover.
That's right. Yeah, so they won't. They're Nazis. They will not let you in there. And then, so for me, the cash is just good for those guys.
Right.
Oh yeah, stuff like that.
Can I also say, whether it's them or the little taco place that says we only take cash, can you do that in 2021?
Well,
you should run a business and go.
Feels like you're waving a flag for the IRS.
Yeah,
true.
Looks real good on
no
the taxes.
record of anything.
Also, though, to be fair, Adam, they wanted to pay you, but they didn't have cash.
Well, that's true.
They
yeah.
generally pay cash there, but I have had a few times where I'm at that Supernova show where they'll be like, "Hey, our Venmo's all we hit our limit or whatever." They're like, "I just pay you next time." I was like, "I don't know about the next time."
Switch to PayPal. Fuck you.
Yeah, what are you talking about? That seems a little fishy.
Apply for a business account.
Yeah, get a Zelly.
Can I just get you next time?
No.
So, Jeff, finalist on season 6 of Last Comic Standing. I'm doing my
that was a long time
homework
ago.
here. Well, yeah, it was a long time ago. So you're really young when you did that. That's 08.
22.
Wow, that's really young for stand-up. I feel. I mean, if you're white, if you're black, you start at 12.
Right.
I don't know why.
Like
Chris
Chappelle.
Rock and all those guys. Like, I was 13.
Richard Pryor.
I was already working.
Right.
I heard he was also killing. That's more annoying. I heard that Dave Chappelle used to come in when he was like 15 years old and work the club, and he would do well. Like he would crush. I was like, that's not fair.
First off, could you... couple things. You know, says, I got to tell my mom. She'd drive me to the club, and she'd wait in the car. Like, I could imagine pitching that to Chris Carolla. Like, hey, I'm 14. I'm going to get my license in 2 years.
You cool your jets for an hour and a half.
Drive me to the club and wait in the station wagon. Then I'll go knock them dead, and then I'll come back out.
Bring cash to the parking lot.
Could you imagine?
No. Well, what time? Well, at least tell me what time you're going to go on.
Yeah, right. Shouldn't? No. But shouldn't... I hope Chappelle's mom or Chris Rock's mom or any of those moms who like took them to the club
that went through
they
that.
They got to be in for a taste now.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They got to wet their beak.
Well, I wasn't even a person yet at that age. I don't know how I would gather thoughts and then present it to an adult audience. I don't even know how. Like I have Kool-Aid stains on the, on my lip. Like I can't imagine them.
What's
being
up
able
with
to,
these Capri Suns? Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on now, people.
Just say fart into the microphone. Like I didn't grow up like that. I don't know. So I was still a baby.
Also, you would have been, I feel like, well, who was it? Was it Chappelle was like 15?
Yeah.
Chris Rock was famously maybe prior.
17.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy.
I hate kid comedians, too. That's something I'll say. I hate it. You ever see like a 9-year-old get up there and his dad told him all the jokes? Like,
sure.
I got in trouble for something I didn't even do, my homework. And the whole crowd goes, isn't he adorable? I hate that. I think it's my biggest pet peeve.
How long did that
Children,
happen?
comedians.
That's some Star Search shit.
It drives me insane.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to boo the kid. You're not going to go, you suck. Like, I want to, but no one does that.
Where do you see said young comedians?
On the internet.
Oh, on the internet.
Yeah, they'll post it on and I've never seen it in real life, but America's Got Talent. You know, some kid will come out there and do his stand-up routine, and it just makes me want to puke. I hate it so much.
Well, how did you get into it at a relatively young age for a white guy? How'd that work?
I was always good at. I was class clown in school, and so all my friends went off to college, and I was still like playing PlayStation. I was like, I guess I don't know what I'm gonna do. And they were like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, well, it'd be cool to be a comedian. And they're like, well, then go do that, loser. And I did. So I just walked to the comedy club.
How much traction did you get as class? I was a class clown of North Hollywood High. Oh. But it didn't curry much favor back then.
With anybody.
Well, it's sort of like there are good times. Let's just say I was good at football, but football wasn't that popular. It was kind of like punk rock, LA. There was kind of alternative stuff going on.
Right.
Now, if you're, football star in the 50s, that's a pretty good time to be the football star back then. But in the early 80s, not as much is what I'm saying. And so maybe there are better times to be class clown than others. Maybe it would have been worse in the 50s.
Yeah, you would have gotten backhanded.
Yes, versus...
Yeah, I bet kids nowadays, I bet the class clown nowadays isn't like it was when I was, right? Because
the class clown nowadays gets diagnosed.
Yeah,
like, there must be something wrong
or they'd
with
be
it.
like, "Hey, don't be disrespectful to the teachers." Like
It's a
that'd be
hate
the
crime.
classmates and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was like a legend for being, and I probably wasn't even that clever, but like everyone at school thought I was, and I was like, it was good to be class clown, but I was like an annoying one. I was like the dance on the table, get suspended guy. There's some class clowns who are like the wisecrack in the back of the room, kind of the more David Letterman-y type.
Mort Saul types of 16 and a half
I was like the Jay
years
Leno
old.
type. Go, look at me. Like I was, but I just wanted attention, and it worked, and yeah, it's great.
So you got class clown, which how big a class are we talking about? We're talking about regular size high school?
Yeah,
here?
like a 4A school. It's a big school. Is that what it's called?
I guess.
I don't
Not
know.
here.
You know what I meant.
So you're a class clown. So you got the funny part.
Yeah.
And how about the family? Do they encourage the comedy?
They were fine with the comedy. My family's so they're like broke, and like really not very attentive people, which is why I was the look at me guy. But then I'd be like, I think I'm gonna go to college. They're like, yeah, good luck paying for that. Like they were like negative about things they should have been supportive about. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna do comedy. They go, oh, you'd be good at that. I was like,
wow.
What? Like that's a weird thing, but like that they were totally supportive of that.
Was it because they didn't have to pay for it?
Maybe. Or maybe they just were like, that's something we could actually see you committing to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were right. I committed to it.
What'd your parents do?
My dad works in machinery, and then my mom was like just works at corporate Costco, like putting in like the information from memberships. Mm-hmm. Pretty boring
The data
jobs.
processing.
More
Yeah,
paper
boring
towels.
jobs. Both jobs the internet ruined. You know, like my dad would he was like a parts manager. You know, you'd call a guy and go, "Hey, do you have a valve or whatever for a tractor?" I don't know what it would be. You'd know these things.
Make some up.
But now you just go to the internet. Now you
Yes.
just order the part from the internet. You
I'm
don't have to call
for
a guy.
a harmonic balancer for 77
Yes, stuff like
Datsun
that.
B210.
1 second.
Right.
The cool thing
It's
about my dad's
back-ordered.
job, though, is that like I'd always get to drive those like all the big tractors and stuff. Later on in my life, I used to whenever I would see like a big whatever they're called tractors, I would jump over the fence and impress my friends because I know they leave the keys in it, and I would know it's not hard to figure that stuff out, and I would just always do that. I'm surprised I didn't get arrested.
You know, a good construction move I saw just the other day driving around. Can't remember if I was back in LA or where it was, and you guys will notice this if you think about it. If you're driving your car down the freeway on a Saturday or Sunday, like a non-construction day, and there's some kind of construction site nearby or on the freeway, whatever, and you see the crane up in the air, and you see the cable coming down from the crane, oftentimes you'll see a big box hanging from
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the knack box with all the tools.
The gang box.
Really?
Because that shit
Yep.
gets ripped off
They don't
over
want it
the
to get lifted.
Suspended
weekend.
midair.
That's
They
genius.
literally just hang it up like crazy, like what you do with food when you camp. You know, like we don't want the bears
Right.
getting into it.
Yeah, that's
You
genius.
replace bears with
You're going to hike it up
gangbangers.
the tree.
Yeah, like, literally just hang them up.
That's very impressive. That makes sense.
Unless Jeff dies on hand,
then I lower the
jump
crane.
into the
Everybody
crane.
knows those are tools.
But it is. I like that shit because I just like simple fixes and ingenuity. Like
Yeah.
they're not climbing this, they're not getting to it. We'll lock up the crane. They can't operate the crane, and that's
end.
where all the shit.
I like
Smart.
picturing a bunch of thugs just trying to jump up, trying to get the, like, yeah, there's tools in there. They're out there, can't reach.
Yeah, at some point, and there's got to be a story by now where somebody was killed by one of those boxes
Oh,
when they
100%.
showed up Monday morning and the guy was hungover, lowered it, and fucking flattened him.
That was an OSHA email at one point for sure.
It had to be an OSHA email.
You know what I think about you all the time is after I did last comic stand and I came in here and it might have been years after, it might have been soon after, I don't remember, but you were doing a bit at the time about the show that you later made. You were just talking about To Catch a Contractor.
Oh my
I
God.
was.
Yeah, it was like just a bit you were doing, and I remember thinking that's a show that's got legs or whatever. Like I would think that like in my head, but then you did make the show, and I ended up watching every single episode of it.
Wow.
Well, thanks.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this is a great show.
Well, I was just kind of free-forming, so it didn't lodge in my head. It's like, oh, that bit. So I have no recollection of it, but maybe.
Yeah, you were doing it. I don't think you came up with it like on the spot while we were talking or anything. But I remember you were, and I was like, that's. But it was actually ended up being an amazing show.
It was a fun show to watch. It
was great travel.
Kind of hairy to do.
You didn't like doing it?
Well, it was super uncomfortable because you had to like confront these poor contractors. And the thing about the contractors is I always felt really bad for them because I used to be a poor contractor and I know these guys. Like it's one thing to go after one of these white collar guys
Yeah.
with his hedge fund who's bilking his clients out.
Had it too good for too
These guys
long.
just pull up in their fucking broken down trucks and
Yeah.
they're so beaten down by life and
They are screwing people though.
they're definitely screwing people, but it's that kind of, I guess it's the difference between a thief that steals the loaf of bread to feed her kid and the thief that just goes out and vandalizes shit for the hell of it and, or the white collar guy, billionaire boys club or something. Like, you still kind of feel sorry for the thief that steals the bread and
Sure.
you go, well, they're thieves. You
Jean
know, you're
Valjean.
yeah, right. But yes. So
One Val one.
First off, I worked with
Brian,
enough
please.
of these broken down dudes to go like, oh yeah, this guy kind of reminds me of some of the guys I worked with, and they would rip people off, but they were still. They never got rich off it. I mean, they were
It's
horrible
hilarious
guys.
that you're
but
conflicted about it. Like
I
you
am.
made the show and then started sympathizing with the men you made the show to destroy.
I got
Stockholm
Stockholm syndrome.
syndrome.
Yeah, I ended up going home with a few
Stockton
of those guys
syndrome.
and blowing them. Stockton syndrome. We'd go to Stockton.
I love the show.
It was fine. I just felt bad. It's so much. I had so much easier to just beat the shit out of, it's easier to punch up.
Yeah, sure.
I guess is what it was. I
Yeah.
felt like we were kind of punching down because these people were they were bad and broken.
Yeah.
At the same time.
It was great though.
Yeah, it was fun, and Skip was into it. Skip would be like, get off.
Yeah, he's working out every day going, we're going to get another one.
Get all fired up. And, all I remember is Skip's back was like 3 feet wide. At the
He's a
top.
big man.
He's a big dude, And the poor cameraman, because Skip never been on TV before, and that awareness of the camera takes a couple years for you to sort of
Cheat out.
What it is like you're interviewing guys on the street, and the guy you're interviewing will start like turning in,
Right.
and you put your arm. Everyone wants to know like, you're so chummy with. You're directing
Right.
people. You're pulling it. So that you do with old people at a wedding when they have to do the video. I want to thank, and the old man like grabs your wrist, and you're like, okay, hold on, step back. Here we go. Push him. You kind of
That's why Huell Hauser was such a pro. Never
Yeah,
let go of the mic.
right. Never let go of your hand.
Huell never interviewed a person who wanted to be interviewed by him.
Right.
So he's immediately start with that big paw, I'd go around and like pull him, like, hey, come over here. And he'd pull him this direction. He'd put the mic. The person was always trying to kind of squirm away or back off.
Right.
So the cameraman, Skip would always get around the dude, and his huge back would come out, flex out, and he'd corner the guy, and he'd like, hey, man, like, this woman's got a daughter, and she's got asthma, okay? And the poor cameraman was always holding the camera, but he was trying to move Skip.
Not the easiest guy to move.
Not easy to move, and he'd move Skip over, and Skip would, like, open up a little, and you could see the contractor's face, and then the contractor would go, hey, man, I used the money. I went to a casino. What of it? And Skip would turn around again. And like, now he's pissed again. His back would flare out again. And the poor camera guy was moving. Like, would have his hand out. We'd open Skip up again. Yeah.
Well, wasn't his wife? They were both worked out.
Yeah, Allison.
I followed their Instagrams or whatever, and they were always
Oh my
jacked.
God! The most you think that the contractors were depressing? I would be like Allison. I'd be like, the call time might be 6:30 in the morning, and they'd be like in a hotel that was 20 miles away, and it's just like one day she shows me these like rolling massaging hand bead gloves or something, and I'm like, what are those for? And she's like, I give Skip a rub down every morning, and I'm like, but not with the 6:30 call times where I have to get up at 5. Like every morning, I put on the beaded wooden gloves. I just give him a full rub down, like every day, like full. Not a quickie, not a cheapie, not I'll catch you later after the shoot. Like I'm like, you guys had to get up. We got up at 4:45. Just rubbed him down for half an hour with these big wooden beaded gloves. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Nobody would ever do that for me. I even if I paid him, I couldn't pull that one off.
She lives with a bear.
Yeah, she's like, literally, I'm giving this guy the big hand bead massage. I don't even know what those things are. Have you seen those?
No,
Gina?
I mean, I can picture what you're saying.
Respect your man a little.
I
They're
know.
like
And don the-
rolling.
Don't
they have
tell
like
him about
roller
this.
feet,
Yeah,
like
you don the
ball
roller
bearings.
gloves a little bit, sweetie. You're married now. Keep your man satisfied.
I heard those vows. I will. I promise.
All right, let me tell you about BetterHelp. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We get our cars tuned to prevent issues down the road. You go to the gym, stay away from the doctor. If you get injured, you go to the doctor. You take care of yourself. Same with therapy. It's routine maintenance for your mental wellness and prevents bigger issues down the road. BetterHelp, customized online therapy offering video, phone, or even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want. Much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Why invest in everything except your mind, man? Take care of the bean, and the rest will follow. Right, Dawson?
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Adam Carolla Show listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Carolla. That's BetterHelp.com/Carolla.
You find any of those wooden bead gloves?
No, this is like something else. Some bizarro silicone.
Just search for rolling massage gloves.
Okay.
They're not.
That's what I
there they
found.
are.
That's
Sorry.
exactly what I
You're
found.
right.
Wooden.
But I'd
They're
never
like-
seen
Yeah.
those before.
I don't know.
But they got 360 ball bearings.
Looks like sea anemones.
Just a serious rub down every
Oh, yeah.
single morning.
Let's all take a moment.
Yeah, let's take a moment. I was thinking,
even
who
know
do
if
I
that
hate
would feel
more,
good.
them or the couple that sits on the same side of the booth when they go to the diner? Like, I don't
So
know.
uncomfortable.
I've had that happen to me a bunch. When you're like on a date and she's like, I just want to come over there. And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say no.
But how do you feel about two people at a four-top sitting like at a 90-degree angle, or do they have to be
No,
across from each
that's
other?
how you're supposed to sit.
90's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I like that, and
biblical.
Andy's not a fan.
My
yeah.
excuse,
Yeah.
I usually get out of
Divorce.
it because I'm left-handed. Like I'm left-handed.
Same.
I
Yeah.
always order a tough steak. There's a lot of sawing.
It's going to be a lot of...
I need leverage.
Yeah, and if she does come over, you really punish her.
Right.
and
You
she
get a
goes
black
back.
eye.
You go John Sally on her your elbow.
Dropping elbows.
When you go to a restaurant, do you pick a seat like based on the location? Like I like to face the door.
Me too.
So I don't know if that's some sort of guy thing or dominant.
Paranoid thing.
Yeah, maybe it's like the
Why would
alpha
you-
or what. I don't know what it is, but like I need to see the door.
Why the door? Why not the best view?
I don't know.
Because if shit goes down,
See
you can
someone coming in and
hightail
out.
it.
I don't know.
I
I've
mean,
overthought it.
defend your spouse.
Sure.
I've overthought it. I don't know why I'm doing it. I just know that every time I go to the restaurant, I'm sitting in that spot.
Oh, let's
Well, that's
see.
Allison.
Yeah,
That's
Allison
her hand. That's her
Bedell.
tattooed hand.
For all the Adam Carolla fans, this is one of the massage
Oh my
gloves
God.
I use on Skip Bedell.
That was fast.
Hashtag love my husband.
Wow.
Wait, did she just?
I know.
Oh, I
It's a
was gonna say,
6-year-old
wow, that
pose.
was
It's
been discussed.
insane.
It's been discussed. It's angered me for a long time now.
What is that tattoo on her wrist?
I do not know, but it cannot be read because it's moving so quickly because she's rubbing her husband down so dutifully.
Wait a second.
Every morning.
I am an expert now because of the whole Nexium sex cult branding thing.
Mm.
Gosh.
If you look at that upside down, I swear to Christ, it says skip.
Oh, it does.
Well done. Well
yeah.
done, Gina.
Thank you.
Man, that is
Flip it around.
commitment.
Yeah.
Now she's doubled down on her commitment.
Yeah.
She's got his name on her
That's
wrist.
locked in.
Flip
She's
it upside down,
massaging him
Caitlin.
down, making you look like a horrible wife.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's using the wrist that's already been embossed with the
Been
name
branded.
of her husband to rub her husband down.
wild.
Yeah.